So in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we understood about what is the transformation is expected to happen in Arjuna. Arjuna is in the material consciousness, but war is happening under the supervision of Supreme Lord Krishna. Therefore, the battlefield of Kurukshetra is a Punya Kshetra where God is present. When God is present, there is no place for any confusion. So Arjuna is expressing his confusion, whether he should fight the war or not fight the war. So Arjuna has given many interesting, important reasons for not fighting. So now God is answering those Arjuna's questions and confusions in chapter 2 onwards. In the chapter 2, first of all, Krishna said, you need not to worry, feel any compassion to anybody, because whatever compassion you may be showing, that compassion you are showing for the body. If the body is only temporary, what is the question of compassion? Body is different, you are different. You are seated in the body. Body is the yantra, the vehicle given to you to function, to fulfill your activities. So you are different from body. Then Krishna said, as a Kshatriya, you should do your duty of fighting. So everybody in this world are assigned with certain duties in life. One must perform his duties. Those duties will give positive results when it is done as a duty. So then Krishna said, actually, when you do your duty, thinking that result of that duty, the hard work of you, is not meant for you, it is for God. If you think like that and do your duty, then there is no sin incurred by you due course of the duty. Papa won't be there because you are not doing for yourself. If you remember, I gave the example of police in the last class. The police has all the rights to arrest somebody, beat somebody, but they are doing as a duty for the purpose of maintaining the law and order in the country. So country appreciates. Last few days we are hearing lot of appreciation of the police for arresting some celebrity. Oh, they have done very good duty. They arrested, they put them behind bars, they questioned them. So we are appreciating them. Though they have given some pain to somebody, why they are appreciated? Because they are doing not for themselves, they are doing for the country. Like that, when we do the activities not for ourselves, but for God, you will not commit any sin in that. So Arjuna, though it may appear that Arjuna is killing somebody, killing is not good, but killing is for what? Killing because it is a mission of God to establish dharma. So he is doing for that, he is not doing for himself. That is called Nishkama Karma Yoga. That is also called Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga is also called Bhakti Yoga because it's a devotion. I am doing for God, not for myself. So that's called devotion. So all these things are explained by Krishna in the second chapter. Basically, this is a summary of the Bhagavad Gita itself. Now there is a clarity. All Arjuna's questions are answered with this. But these things are not told very systematic manner in the second chapter. So Arjuna raises another question now in the third chapter. So then Krishna starts explaining whatever he has explained in the second chapter in more systematic manner, more elaborate manner, that we are going to study now. So let us start with Arjuna's question. Okay. So you all might have received the handouts. So this session is dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON. So now you see in your handouts, so there is a division like this, isn't it? So this chapter is divided into 5 categories. So what is the first? Arjuna's question, confusion. Then Nishkama Karma Yoga is better for Arjuna. Then Karma Khanda to Karma Yoga, a transition. And the 4th section is again Nishkama Karma Yoga, one should do for setting the right example to the society. And the last section, conquering the lust, Kama, which is the greatest enemy of human being. So, we'll go by Arjuna's question. What is Arjuna's confusion? Please repeat after me. First verse of the 3rd chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Arjuna Uvacha. Jayasi Chet Karmanaste. Mata Buddhir Janardhana. Tat Kim Karmani Ghore Mam. Niyojayasi Keshava. Next verse. Vyamishreneva Vakyena. Buddhim Mohayasiva Me. Tadekam Vada Nishchitya. Yena Shreyoham Apnuyam. So now Arjuna is saying this. My dear Krishna, Janardhana, O Keshava, is addressing Krishna in 2 names here, Janardhana and Keshava. Keshava because Krishna's name is a Keshava because Krishna killed one demon called Keshi Nisudhana, who killed the Keshi demon is called Keshava. Also, Krishna has got beautiful hair. That is also another reason Krishna's name is a Keshava, one has beautiful hair. So now here Keshava because the confusion in our mind, doubts, confusions in our life is considered equivalent to a demon. So now the demon called doubts, confusion of Arjuna's mind has to be killed. Hence Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Keshava. So, O Keshava, why do you urge me to engage in this ghastly warfare? If you think that intelligence is better than fruity work, meaning, Krishna, if you think Jnana, Buddhi Yoga is better than Karma Yoga, then why should I engage in the karma of fighting? Why should I do this? Better I do Buddhi Yoga, I render devotional service, I do something and I offer that to God. So why I should engage in ghastly warfare? This is Arjuna's question. Further Arjuna asked, my intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, Please tell me decisively what is most beneficial for me. Now clearly tell me what is good for me. Your instructions, whatever you have given so far, is still did not solve my confusion. I understood that you want me to fight this war, but at the same time, I am in a doubt that if I can do karma, if I can do buddhi yoga, the devotion to God, why should I do karma yoga of fighting, which is ghastly warfare? I don't want to do this. Now Krishna starts answering, that is next section. Now Krishna gives important instruction to Arjuna. Please repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Lokesmin Vividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Maya Nagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. The blessed Lord said, O sinless Arjuna, Anagha, Krishna addressed Arjuna as Anagha. He is addressed as Anagha because Arjuna, you are not sinful person, you are a sinless person, you are a pure person. Please hear from me what is the truth. O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who realize the self. Some are inclined to understand him by empirical philosophical speculation, and others are inclined to know him by devotional work. One do karma, one go for jnana, buddhi. The two kinds of people. Okay. So both are trying to understand the same truth, achieve the same. Then he says, not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve the freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. Next, all men are forced to act helplessly according to the impulses born of the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Now I'll explain what Krishna wants to say. Now Krishna is saying, first of all, your question is correct. Whether I should do karma or jnana, should I go or searching for the knowledge, like that I should go, and I should do buddhi yoga like that. Buddhi yoga is also mean jnana yoga. So I should search for the truth, read the literatures, sit somewhere idle, keep reading, understanding. That's called jnana. So that is also one path. And one more path is, one does the work, but he offers that work to God, work in devotion. Karma yoga means work in devotion. He doesn't keep for himself. So I explained to you, karmi and karma yogi are two different things. Merely if one is doing his duty, it is karmi. If after doing the duty, if he offers the result to God, he becomes karma yogi. Because the word yoga means connection, connecting, linking. Okay. Only when you link with God, then you become yogi. Through my action, work, I link with God, that is karma yoga. Through my knowledge, I link with God, then jnana yoga. So the yoga becomes the one activity becomes yoga when it is connection. So one merely does his duty, and all the results of his duty one engages himself alone. Then he is a karmi. He is not a karma yogi. One does his duty and offers the result to God, then he becomes karma yogi. So Krishna is saying there are two kinds of people. One do the work and offer the result to God. One who go for acquiring knowledge, jnana yogis. However, Krishna is giving important twist here. He says, actually, by giving up the work alone one cannot achieve the perfection. Meaning, why he is saying, it is revealed in the 5th verse. He said that everybody is born with certain impulses. Like we can't keep quiet, isn't it? If suppose you are locked in a room, no mobile, no book, no TV, nothing is given to you, you will feel very suffocated. Though you are left very nice, you are given very nice facility in that room, air conditioning, soft bed, everything is given, nice food also is given. Still can you be in that room forever? You need activity. So everybody is born with certain impulses. Krishna is using the word impulses. Means based on, there are 3 gunas, you all as Hindus we heard this. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Sattva guna, Raja guna, Tama guna. Each one of us have certain percentage of all the 3 modes. One may have 10% of Sattva guna, 50% of Raja guna, then 40% of Tama guna. One may have 60% of Sattva guna, 30% of Raja guna, and 10% of Tama guna. So everybody's percentage of guna changes based on one's activity, how he conduct himself. Some tapasya is required to come to the higher modes. When you don't do anything, you become lazy, you go down to the more and more percentage of Tama guna will increase when you become lazy. So now, based on this Sattva, Rajas, Tamas influence on us, our body and mind, we like to do something. Let's say somebody wants to play, someone wants to read, someone wants to watch TV. What is the reason? Each one, someone wants to eat. It is all certain impulses generated because of 3 modes. You see here, all men are, I am reading the translation of the 5th verse. All men are forced to act helplessly according to the impulses born of the modes of material nature. Modes of material nature means Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Now Arjuna, the fact is that though you are thinking, why should I do karma, let me do jnana, but is your mind and body is ready for that? Can you sit and read, Arjuna, all the Vedas? As a Kshatriya, you have a passion. So now with that passion, can you sit and read? Not possible. So now, keeping those passion and still acting like controlling, you see the 6th verse. One who restrains the senses and organs of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, is controlling artificially, but the mind is still, I want to do this, I want to do this, is going on, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. Arjuna want to become Jnana Yogi, give up the country, give up the palace, give up everything and go for a search of Jnana. But Arjuna's nature as a Kshatriya is what? Fighting. Then what he will do? Will he be able to sit? Artificially he will act like that. But his mind is interested in fighting. Then what will happen? He is called pretender. Mithyachara. He has become Mithyachara. So therefore, for Arjuna, what is good? On the other hand, he who controls the senses, I am reading the 7th verse translation. Okay. Therefore, on the other hand, he who controls the senses by mind and engages his active organs in works of devotion without attachment is by far superior. So what you should do, Arjuna? Because Arjuna asked, you decisively tell me what I should do. Okay. So Krishna is telling decisively what Arjuna should do. What is told to Arjuna is applicable to all of us. So we must do our actions, activities. Okay. While doing our activities, we should do the acts of works for devotion without attachment for the result. That is far superior than artificially giving up. Artificially I give up and go. So better than that, I should do Karma Yoga. What kind of Karma Yoga? Nishkama Karma Yoga. Not for me, that is for God. In that way, Nishkama Karma Yoga is also can be understood as Bhakti Yoga, because you are giving for God, Krishna. When you are giving something to Krishna, that is called Bhakti. So generally, people think Bhakti means, general understanding of Bhakti is, you do bhajan, okay, that is Bhakti. You do puja at home, that is Bhakti. Read some shlokas, stotras, that is Bhakti. Go to temple, that is Bhakti. These all things are Bhakti, that is correct. That is not only Bhakti. Actually, Bhakti means expressing our devotion and love to God. That I can express by doing arati to God also, by reading the shlokas also, offering prayers also, by going to temple also. That is also different expressions of bhakti. Now, I am an engineer. I can write a software which helps to improvise the service to Krishna. Then my coding is also bhakti. So bhakti has no limitation that one has to do, read the book only, do arati, go to temple, that is only bhakti. Whatever ability you have, when you utilize that for God, that is called bhakti. Because why do you do for God? Because you love God. You like God. That is why you want to do. Not that you want to take something from Him. You want to give it to Him. That is called bhakti. So, we have to widen our understanding of bhakti like this. So, bhakti is not limited to offering prayers and going to temple or doing bhajan. Bhakti is anything and everything which is offered to God in devotion. That is bhakti. So now Arjuna is told that one he should on other hand, he controls his senses by engages his active organs in works of devotion without attachment is far superior. So Arjuna should do Nishkama Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Next verse. Perform your prescribed duty, for action is better than inaction. A man cannot even maintain his physical body without work. So don't become inactive, Arjuna. Please do your work. So then he says, one has to do his activity for the Lord. Why he has to do? Please chant this 9th verse. 9th verse. Important verse. Yajñārtāt karmaṇo ñatra. Yajñārtāt karmaṇo ñatra. Lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Tadhartam karma kaunteya. Tadartham karma kaunteya. Mukta sangha samachara. Mukta sangha samachara. So here it is said by Krishna, Yajñārtāt karmaṇo anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. In this loka means in this world, karma bandhana will happen. Means you are bound by the reactions of your work. Bound by reactions of your work means every action has a reaction. For example, you have taken 100 rupees from one person. You are bound to give him back. Suppose one person has taken 100 rupees from another person, and this person who has taken 100 rupees died. As per the law of karma, in the next life he has to give back that. Nobody will be spared by the law of karma. So, now that is called karma bandhana. Any action I do, then something else will start. I want to help somebody and I am going to help somebody in a vehicle. And while going, vehicle drove over a dog and dog died on the road. What happens? For the help you have done, you get punya. The dog you killed, you get papa. This is called karma bandhana. Now Krishna is giving an idea how to not to bound by karma bandhana. He is saying, yajnartat karmano. You should do your karma activities is here. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Yajnapati. Vishnu is called Yajnapati. So, action has to be yajna. Means for the satisfaction of Vishnu. When the action is done for the satisfaction of Vishnu, one has to do. Otherwise, work binds one to this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. In that way, you will always remain unattached and free from bondage. Same example. Last time I gave example of police. Now I will give the example of an army man. On the borders of India, they are killing. They are killing Pakistanis, killing terrorists in Kashmir. An army man guns down 10 terrorists. He killed. What action India will take on that soldier? Given him very special award, Paramavir Chakra, for his bravery, for his bravely he went and killed. And the soldier becomes very happy. Because I killed 10 people, they gave me Paramavira Chakra. He comes back in the holiday to home, kills 20 people, all his neighbors. Will he be spared? No. The first action is for country, second action he did for himself. Then bandhana is there. Now, when you do action for God, everything is running under the supervision of God. Ishavasyamidam sarvam. Everything belongs to God. When I offer my result to God, while doing that, I may do so many things. I was going to serve Krishna. On the way I drove and dog fell under my car and died. Actually, the karma siddhanta is that you will not get sin because you are going for the purpose of serving God. Suppose you are going to a restaurant to eat for yourself. That time the car dies under your car. That time you get karma. That is why Arjuna, though he is going to kill so many people in the Kurukshetra, Arjuna is not going to become papi. That's why Arjuna is called Anagha, sinless. He will not commit any sin because he is doing for higher purpose, not for himself. So this is the Siddhanta. You see, Krishna is clearly saying, Yajnarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Tadartham karma kaunteya. Arjuna, for that you do karma. For what? For yajna, for the sacrifice to Vishnu. That's called yajna. Okay. So this is the section where Krishna is telling what is good for him. Because Arjuna asked this question, correct? No? So karma is good or jnana is good. Now Krishna has given the clarity. Basically Krishna has told like this, Arjuna, for your nature you cannot do jnana. For your nature you should fight. While you fighting, you don't do for yourself, you do for my sake. You will be freed from all sin. That is actually basically Krishna has told in simple words. That is this section, second section. So anyway, is it clear? Anybody has any question? Okay. Now we will go to next section. That is karma kanda. Karma kanda is nothing but karmi, I said. Karma kanda to karma yoga. So there are two different things. Karma kanda and karma. Becoming karmi and karma yogi, the two different things. That has been explained now here in this section. Okay. Please repeat 10th verse. We go on to the next section. Sahayajna praja srishtva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadhvam Esha votva ishtakamadhok. In the beginning, in the beginning of creation, Srishti agodikkinta munche, beginning of the creation. Krishna is giving important knowledge now. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods. Demigods means devatas. Okay, it's not demigod. Demigod is not very respectable word, but demigod is a very respectable word. They're called devatas. The men and devatas, along with the sacrifices for Vishnu, yajna, and blessed them by saying, "Be you happy by this yajna sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you all desirable things." You see, sometimes you should think, you should sit quiet. You say, sometimes you should sit quiet and think. Sometimes you should sit in a very, very quiet, calm place for some time. Think about yourself. Think about this world. Think about all that happening in this world, all that happened in this world. From a viewpoint of you're not into it. Just like if you are flying in a parachute or in a helicopter and you're watching down, you're in a helicopter, seeing down. Some people are going in a car, some people, trains are going, and you're seeing a city, some traffic jams and so many vehicles. You are not into it, you're watching from as an outsider, isn't it? So sometimes like this, you should sit in a quiet place. This is called spiritual thirst. Human beings supposed to have this. We have become too busy these days, we don't have time to think like this. So you should sit like this and think, what is this all world is all about? What is this all drama happening around life? So in a day, so many people are taking birth, so many people are dying, so many marriages are happening, so many divorces are happening. So many people are happy in this moment. So many people are unhappy also in this moment. Sad. And I see, what is this drama going on in this world? Is it that God is enjoying by making us all go through this? Why is it this happening? How big is the world? Many hidden places of the world, even till now man has not reached. Deep under the Antarctica, deep under the Pacific Ocean, deep in the forest of Amazon, even in this planet. What to talk about in the night time, in a clear sky, when I look up and see there are so many stars and planets. What is this all about? Science has not even found out 0.00001% of creation. What is the purpose of my existence? Why am I existing? Am I existing to eat and sleep? Or is there some higher purpose behind this? If everything has a purpose in this world, God created mountains. There is a purpose why God created mountains. God created rivers. There is a why purpose, the why which God created rivers. Every creation in this world has a purpose. Then what is this life? What is the meaning of life? When this kind of quest comes in the mind, actually that is the beginning of spirituality. It's a very serious quest. Spirituality is not something which is a blind religious practice. Okay, everybody is doing, I am doing. Religious practices have a deep meaning and understanding that we need to understand and do, but we should not be deeply or blindly doing those things. So this is a quest for spirituality. Now, the quest for spirituality, the meaning for life, Krishna is slightly giving here in this section. Okay, he's saying, in the beginning of creation, God created everything. Having created everything, he also created men and devatas. And who are these devatas? They are whether powerful beings. Some are little powerful, some are more powerful, some are most powerful. He created all of them. And these devatas control certain administrative aspects of this creation. Varuna Deva controls the rain, Vayu Deva controls the air, Agni Deva controls the fire and heat. So like this, devatas are in charge of this creation. Like in the Tulu Nadu, we worship Bhutas because they are the protectors of this Nadu. Kshetra Palakas, they protect. So they're powerful beings. So God created all the powerful beings and told this, be happy by yajna, the sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you all desirable things. Now, you worship these powerful beings, less powerful people respect the higher powerful people, they will bestow with all your desirable things. Like this in your life you can be happy. Like this God created. Now why did God create this is a question. I'll briefly tell, okay, from the Vedic understanding. We all are part and parcel of God, Amsha of God. In one sense, we and God are not different. We are Krishna are not different. In one sense, we are different. How it is? Just like this finger. This finger, when I say myself, finger also included in that. Imagine if there is independent existence for this finger, or if this finger is cut. When finger is cut and is no more connected to myself, then I can say this is my finger, this is not me. As long as it's joined with me, I said it's me only. And separated is my finger, is not me, separate from me. Now Amsha, we all are Amsha of God. Each one of us are Amsha of God, Krishna. And we all belong to God. And what is our function? Just like this finger, the function of finger is to serve the whole. If there is a nice rasgulla, what should finger do? Is to pick up and put it in the mouth. If finger protests, why should always I should serve the mouth? I will only enjoy the rasgulla. Then, if finger protests and does not feed the mouth, ultimately one day finger also will suffer because of no energy in the body. So Krishna and Krishna's Amshas, all of us, are supposed to be happy in the association of God always. That is our real existence. This is a Vedic understanding of life. We all belong to God and we are supposed to be in the association of God. In the association of God, Krishna and Krishna's amshas, jivas, called Jiva and Paramatma, the Atma and Paramatma, they have an interesting interaction, loving exchanges, happiness. Like at your home, your happiness with your granny or with your grandfather, grandmother, you may have one kind of interaction and happiness, loving exchanges. Your spouse, you may have another kind of loving exchanges. Your children, you have another kind of loving exchanges. And with your brother and sisters, you have another kind of loving exchanges. All the jivas have certain loving exchanges with God. We are meant to serve God. To enable us to serve God, God has given us free will, independence, freedom. Freedom to act what we want to do. God has blessed us with freedom. Why this freedom is required? Without freedom, we cannot enjoy the relationships. I'll give you an example. Suppose today is your birthday. You get up in the morning and you wish that everybody should, you feel that everybody should wish you. Imagine nobody wishes you. Then you put the status, today is my birthday. Still nobody is wishing you. So whole day is going, afternoon, evening, nobody is wishing you. You feel bad, isn't it? Nobody has wished you, but you don't have control. Okay, then at the evening you feel very bad. Then coming back home, a auto driver is dropping you, rickshaw driver. You tell him, Bhaiya, today is my birthday, nobody has wished. Can you please wish? The driver says, Madam, give me 100 rupees more, I will wish you. You become so frustrated, give 100 rupees more. Then he turns back and says, very, very happy returns of the day. Does it give you happiness? Why? You purchased his freedom by 100 rupees. Or he sold his freedom for 100 rupees. It has no value. Or you come back home, a loving dog at your home jumps at you and licks at you, you will go. Because dog had a choice to hug you or not hug you. But dog decided, let me go and hug him. Now you see, when there is a freedom, you use that freedom to serve somebody, express your love to somebody. That gives pleasure. This is called relationship pleasure. Very subtle. Now God has given freedom to all of us for what? We are supposed to express our love and feeling to God. Then God expresses his love and feeling back to the jiva. There is a loving exchanges between Krishna and all of us. God has created like this, amshas, to enrich the happy experience of existence. We all belong to be happy like this. We are actually happy beings. Last time I said Ananda, happy beings. We are supposed to be exchanging happiness. But some people, jivas, decided, I want to enjoy independent of God. I want to experience that. I don't want to be serving and exchanging love with God. I want to be independent of God. For those jivatmas who don't want to be with the Lord has created this world called material world. Creation happened for this purpose. And all of us who don't want to be with the Lord are put in this place. And God created Maya, the illusion, where though God is helping us for everything, we don't recognize it. It is a God one who is helping you to breathe. It is a God one who is helping you to be alive, your heart to beat, your eyes to blink, your hands to move. But due to Maya, the illusion, we don't recognize that. Because we don't want to recognize. So Krishna has facilitated this. Yes.
So we all have the free will.
Yeah.
The whole universe is created by God. But does the sun and the moon, do they have a free will as well?
Yes, this is a bigger understanding. The sun and moon are two planets. Okay. In the planet, there is a civilization. There is a person called Moon God, who is the personification, the worshipable deity of the Chandraloka. Planet itself is not a person. There is a person predominating worshipable deity. Sun also like that. Sun is a planet. In the sun planet, there is a civilization of Surya Deva. The Surya Deva resides there. Okay. So they are also living beings like us. They are also amshas of God. They are serving God in different ways, these devatas. That's what your question is, good question. Now here it is said, you should worship devatas. Sun and Surya Deva, Chandra Deva, these all are devatas. They are in an empowered position. They can bless us. So this is the genesis of creation. So God has created all of us so that we can exercise. Then God said, now all of you are here. All the jivas in this planet, everybody wants to enjoy, independent of God. When everybody wants to enjoy, there should be some laws. Otherwise there will be chaos. Isn't it? Like in Olympic, every country wants to win gold medal. Now to avoid, if there is no law, then the chaotic. Then there is a law. Okay, 100-meter race means you have to stand like this. You should reach there. That time, what time you should walk, what time you should run. What makes your running correct? What is wrong way of running? So there is a law. Cricket, for example. Everybody wants to get the cup. Every country is thinking we should get the IPL cup or T20 cup. Then there is a law. To win the cup, you should win these many matches. Finally, you should win this law. So this law for all the jivas in this world who have come to enjoy, that law is called karma. Papa, punya, karma. These laws are required. These laws are not there, then they will be chaotic. So now God is saying, but those who wants to go back to God, don't want to be in this world, go back to God, that's called moksha. They come out of all these laws, then they will be out of this. Yes.
In this text 10, Swamiji, Lord of all creatures is mentioned. Prajapati. Why didn't Lord say, I created? Why didn't
He will tell more clearly in the coming chapters. Actually, this is a Karma Yoga chapter. God gives more and more clarity as he goes in the further chapters. Okay. Prajapatihi is the sloka. Now, Prajapatihi means what? That acharyas have to give us the meaning. Because every word of Sanskrit, acharya has to give the meaning. Here, Lord of all the creation is what acharyas have translated and given us. So God is systematically giving the Bhagavad Gita, if you observe. Initially it will be Karma Yoga, then it is a Jnana Yoga. So slowly Krishna will start giving the clarity on these things. So initially, now here it is only Prajapatihi. Prajapatihi means the creator of all the Praja. And Prajapatihi is Krishna himself, or the Prajapatis who created all the creation. So that acharyas have to give the definition to us. Okay. He will give more clarity as we go in the next chapters. So now this is the story of the creation from the Vedic understanding. So then the next verse, 11th verse. The demigods or devatas, being pleased by the sacrifices, will also please you, thus nourishing one another there will be reign, general prosperity for all. This is a material world. In charge of the various necessities of life, the devatas, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, supply all necessities to man. But he who enjoys these gifts without offering them to demigods in return is certainly a thief. Okay, if you don't worship Vishnu, going back to God is not your intention. To be happy in this world, at least you should worship devatas. If somebody do not worship devatas also and enjoy all the benefits, he is called as thief by Bhagavad, by Krishna. Sthena evacha. Like we are enjoying the electricity. If you don't pay the bill, then we are called defaulters, isn't it? We can be punished. They'll cut the electricity. So same way, we are enjoying so many things in the creation. We are supposed to pay back. So the sacrifice yajna is paying back to all the devatas for the facilities they have given to us. So then, if you don't do that, then you are a thief. So it's not a choice basically. I don't care, I just enjoy in this world. If somebody thinks like that, he is continuing to commit sins. And because of those, that person has to eventually suffer. So 13th verse, please repeat. Yajna shishta shinasanto mucchante sarva kilbishaihi bhunjante te tvagam papa epachantyatma karanat. So again Lord is saying, devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat the food which is offered first for sacrifice. Yajna shishtaha. Yajna means the offering made to God. Okay, sacrifice. Shishtaha means which remains after that. Okay, that is in another sense it's called prasada. Like when you offer food, naivedya to God. So after the naivedya, what comes back? That is called yajna shishta or the prasada. So one who takes yajna shishtaha, muchyante sarva kilbishaihi, he will be relieved from all the papas, kilbishaihi, sins. But those who bhunjante tvagam papa epachanti atma karanat, those who eat for their satisfaction and happiness, not offering to God, they are eating only sin. So again Krishna is stressing that one has to do sacrifice to Vishnu. One has to offer everything to God, Krishna, because ultimately that is the goal. Otherwise karma bandhana. You have to go on taking birth again and again. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. You have to go on taking birth, dying, taking birth, dying. So those who want to cut the cycle of birth and death, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, those who want to cut the cycle of birth and death, that person has to take up to the spirituality as taught in Bhagavad Gita, worship Krishna and progress spiritually so that he can give up this illusory world and illusory happiness, go back to the real happiness which is exchanging bhakti or love with God. So that's the essence. So next verse. All the living bodies subsist on food grains which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yajna. The yajna is born of prescribed duties. Annadi bhavanti bhutani. How are we all living? Because of anna. And prajanyat anna sambhavaha. How the anna comes? Food grain comes, vegetation comes? By parjanya. Parjanya means rain. Okay, now how does it rain? Yajnat bhavanti parjanyo. If there should be a very nice rain, time to time, okay, then there should be yajna, sacrifice to Vishnu. Okay, what kind of yajna? Here in the Karma Yoga, Krishna is saying, yajna karma samudbhavaha. One has to do his duty, prescribed duty. That itself is a yajna. So when God is pleased, there will be proper rainfall. This is very important. Not now what we see is either heavy rain or no rain. Some places no rain, some places both, some places heavy rain. So this is a symptom of the godless civilization. When the civilization becomes godless and sinful, Prakriti shows this kind of symptoms. So there will be suffering like this, too much of hot. Like elderly people now also say, earlier Mangalore was not this hot, now it is too hot. So why all these Prakriti things are changing? Because people are becoming more sinful. The sinful, then there will be reaction for sins. So here Krishna is explaining the food chain. So how Anna comes? Anna comes from rain. Rain comes from yajna. So everybody sustains by vegetation or Anna. Even the carnivorous animals also, they live by how? They live by other animals which are eating vegetation. So without vegetation nothing can happen. So that happens by karma. So what kind of karma samudbhavam? Prescribed duty is told in the next verse. Those prescribed duty should be given from the Vedas. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam. Meaning, the regulated activities prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, all pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. So the work which we do should be prescribed in the Vedas. So this is basically, by this what we understand is, for the modern civilization, especially from last 200 years, what we see, the civilization, this civilization is based on the machines. The machine revolution happened, and today the world is centered around the cities and the factories and okay. So this is not actually Vedic civilization. This is the civilization of highest sense gratification. Everybody want to enjoy more, enjoy more, enjoy. That's why cities are going and growing. What we see is that this kind of civilization cannot continue for long. It can continue for 100, 200 years, 300 years. But this is not permanent. What is permanent is agriculture, food production, Goraksha, Vanijya, the trade based on food, not based on the currency. Like currency what we have is a piece of paper. Anytime the RBI can announce all those pieces of currency is no more valid. Like one day the Prime Minister had announced that 500 and 1000 rupees notes are just piece of paper from tomorrow. So actual wealth is what? Actual wealth is this earth and the natural resources like gold, food grain. This is actual resources. But today the civilization is built around this kind of artificial requirements. We have increased our artificial requirements for the bodily comforts. So what we can see from this is, we cannot find a prescribed duty from the Vedas in today's world. If somebody asks this, Swamiji can tell me what is my prescribed duty now? There is no prescribed duty, I can tell you. Because today what is going on civilization is not as per the Vedic civilization. Now what you can best do for the Kali Yuga, it's called Kali Yuga. For this Kali Yuga is, do not do the duties which are sinful, like a butcher, Any sinful activities one should not do. Without doing sinful activity, one has to chant the holy name of God. This is the prescribed duty of Kali Yuga. Kritayam dhyayate Vishnu tretayam yajato makaihi dwaparayam paricharyakam kalau tad harikirtanam. The Kali Yuga's prescribed duty is that you can all continue to do your duties. You do it in your office or households. At the same time, do not do any sinful activity, but engage in chanting the holy names of God. That is prescribed in the Vedas for the today's generation. What Krishna is speaking now in the Bhagavad Gita is the duties of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra of Vedic civilization. By doing the duties, okay, there will be time to time there will be rain. Okay, next. My dear Arjuna, a man who does not follow this prescribed Vedic system of sacrifice certainly leads a life of sin. For a person delighting only in senses lives in vain. Okay, now you see this section we completed. I will just brief what we understood. Then you will get clarity. Okay, verse number 10 to 16. Initially Krishna said, the Lord created everything in the beginning, told worship the Devatas and get your facility and be happy. Then next God said, don't do for yourself to be happy. You offer that to Lord as a yajna you should do. When you do as a yajna, you will be relieved from all the sinful activities. Otherwise you are called as a thief and you will be committing sinful activities. So that is why this section is called Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga. You see, this section is named like that. Started with saying that this world created, worship Devatas, be happy. Section ended saying that you should worship the Lord, Yajna, and if you don't do that, you will commit sins and suffer in this world. So it is Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga Krishna has brought in this section. Okay. Now the next is Nishkama Karma Yoga to set right example. Now here, what Krishna is explaining is, in this section, okay. Okay, here is, please pay your attention there. You see the yoga ladder, you say. Karma Kanda is the lowest. I do my duty and I enjoy my result. It's called Karma Kanda. Okay. Sakava Karma Yoga. Okay. I do and fruits for myself only, and the Karma Kanda, I do the activities but little bit sense gratification, purpose is for sense gratification. In the Karma Yoga, Sakama Karma Yoga, I do but purpose is not only sense gratification, also to progress spiritually. That comes Nishkama Karma Yoga, next level, where you do the work, result is not for you, it is for God. Next is Jnana Yoga, get better knowledge to get moksha. The next comes Ashtanga Yoga, we'll hear that in the coming chapters. By controlling senses, one should do meditation. Once you do that, then the final step is loving devotion service to God. That is where it's all beginning. So that is called Bhakti Yoga. Because Yoga ladder, different levels. So now we are attending to the next section, that is Nishkama Karma Yoga is important to do. Why? Now Arjuna is actually need not to do this in one sense, because he is a very elevated person. Arjuna is acting like that. Let me again tell, Arjuna is actually a person of perfection. He is a great devotee of Krishna. He is acting like this. Like he has impulses, he has desires, so that we understand. So now Krishna is saying, you should, though you don't require to perform prescribed duties, those who achieve perfection, then they don't have any prescribed duties. Prescribed duties meant to achieve perfection. So Arjuna does not have any prescribed duties. Then why should Arjuna perform prescribed duties? Krishna is saying here. Another important thing. O son of Pruta, before that, verse number 17, I'll read the translation. One who is, however, taking pleasure in the self, who is eliminated in the self, who rejoices in and satisfied with the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty. So, person who performed perfection has no duty, Krishna has said. Therefore, Krishna is saying, now if you think, Arjuna, you have achieved perfection, still you should do. Why you should do? That he says here. Even kings like Janaka and others attained the perfectional stage by performing prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. You are an ideal person, so you should, like a celebrity. What celebrity does, rest of the people do. So, you are a great person, you should do your duty. Though you are need not to do your duty, if you don't do your duty, what people will think? I should also need not to do my duty. So, Krishna is going to say that now. So, next 21st verse, please repeat. Yad yad acharati shreshtaha tat tad evetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. So, you see here Krishna is saying on principle, whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps. And whatever standard he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. This I need not explain, isn't it? If celebrity wears one kind of hairstyle, everybody wears that hairstyle. And he wears one kind of dress, everybody wears that kind of dress. You see, everybody will follow the great man, Shreshtaha in the society. Now, Krishna is a Shreshta in the society, Arjuna is Shreshta in society. So what they do is important for a common man. Though Krishna is God, still he says, okay, in the 22nd verse, there is no work prescribed to me within the all three planetary systems. Krishna is saying, I don't have any work to do, I don't have any prescribed duty for me. Nor I in want of anything, nor I need to obtain anything. And yet, I am engaged in work. Still Krishna is engaged in work. Why? If Krishna does not do anything, then everybody will say, God only is doing this, I will also do the same. I will not do anything. So therefore, Arjuna, you should do a duty. So that is why in a spiritual life, we have Acharya, Guru, ideal teacher. They teach by example, how to do. Acharya, he does Acharya first. He shows how it should be done. That's called Guru in spiritual life. So next, verse number 25 to 29, this section, these subsections also given in your notes if you see. You see in this, first is self-realized soul need not work. Next is kings Janaka and even Krishna engaged in work to set example to common people. Next section is a karma yogi works with detachment, does not disturb the ignorant man. So ignorant people cannot appreciate activities in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Lord Krishna advises not to disturb them. Meaning, you all are attending Bhagavad Gita class. Okay. Some people are not interested in Bhagavad Gita class, not interested in spiritual life. Actually, you cannot do anything. If you tell no, this is wrong, that is wrong, you should not. He cannot. That person cannot do. His nature is not ready. He is not ready to understand the spiritual knowledge. Krishna is saying, do not disturb them. So, in the next verse number 25 onwards, Krishna says that as the ignorant performs their duties with attachment to the results. There is so much attachment, I want to enjoy. Similarly, the learned may act but without attachment for the sake of leading the people on the right path. Let not the wise disrupt the minds of the ignorant who are attached to the fruitive action. They should not be encouraged to refrain from work, but to engage in the work in the spirit of devotion. So basically, the Lord is saying that don't ask people to give up something. Actually, that is not the spiritual life for the beginners. Do your work, okay, but encourage them, engage them in the work which can be devotion to Krishna. The result of their work should be offered to Lord. That way, slowly engage them in the devotional service of the Lord. Okay, next, verse number 27. Prakrite kriyamānāni gunai karmāni sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Actually, Krishna is saying, we are not the doers. The Prakriti is the doer. We only desire. We as Atma, we desire. I want to enjoy. But how will I enjoy? So that work, to get the work done, it is done by Prakriti. Our body, mind, system, Prakriti is helping us to do. So we are not doer. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of the false ego, thinks himself the doer of the activities that are actually carried by the three modes of material nature. Okay. So next few verses of this section. Working for Krishna and result of not following his order. Okay. 30 and 32. Please open 30 and 32. Therefore, okay, now in conclusion, Krishna is coming. Okay. O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me, with the mind intent on me, and without desire for gain, and free from egoism and lethargy, fight. So Krishna is giving clarity further. Mai sarvani karmani. Mai means for me, Krishna is saying. So one should offer his all results to Krishna and you fight. So that is what. You should do your duty in your day-to-day life as offering to God. So that is the meaning. One who executes his duty according to my injunction, who follows this teaching faithfully, without envy, becomes free from bondage of fruitive activity. This I explained already. Next verse. But those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not practice them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and doomed to ignorance and bondage. So those should follow this. So the last subsection of this main section. This section is called one should do one's own duty according to one's nature for purification. Even the man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. For everyone follows his nature. What can repression accomplish? So you have a nature of Kshatriya, you have a nature of doing something. Please do not stop doing something. Attraction and repulsion for sense objects are felt by embodied beings, but one should not fall under the control of senses and sense objects because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. If it is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though they may be faulty, than another's duty. Distraction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging another's duties, for to follow another's path is dangerous. Now I'll explain this shortly and briefly for your understanding. Now what Krishna is saying here is, see, you should do your duty. While doing your duty, it is not that you can do anything and everything. Say, can the butcher, can he say it's my duty? My father also was cutting animal, I am also cutting the animals. It cannot be duty. Duty has to be from the Vedas, it is told. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. For the Kali Yuga, you should not do sinful activities, you should do. That's what I explained to you. Now, while performing the duty, we have to control our senses. We should not go after sense objects. What does it mean? We have 5 senses. What are the 5 senses? Nose, tongue, ear, eyes and skin. Correct? These 5 senses has 5 objects which attracts it. Eyes gets attracted to beautiful form. Ears get attracted to nice music. Tongue get attracted to tasty food. Nose get attracted to wonderful aroma or smell. The skin get attracted to a comfortable touch. So now this is called senses are getting attracted to sense objects. Basically the Atma has a desire to enjoy. So Krishna has facilitated Atma with the senses for enjoying. There are sense objects, but the interactions of senses and sense objects, interactions, there is enjoyment. This is called sense gratification. When we keep our life to enjoy our senses more and more and more and more, we cannot progress spiritually because we more and more commit sins for the purpose of increasing our enjoyment. I eat palatable food, more palatable, more palatable, more palatable. I enjoyed certain touch, I want to enjoy that more. So sense and sense objects and senses interaction, the happiness is like itching. If the mosquito bites something, you start itching, you itch, you feel like itching more. So the senses, itches of the senses and sense objects are such a way in this world. It carries an intelligent person also away. This is called sense gratification. So Krishna is saying, while performing your duty, you should be sense controlled. You should not be after the senses and enjoyment of the senses. How much is needed we must do. You need to eat good food, tasty food as much as required. That is required. So but one has to be controlled. How much is needed, how much is not needed. So this sense restriction one person should have. This is what Krishna is saying. That helps one to purify. With the controlled senses, one should do his duty. That makes one person progress, and the duty, the purpose of that duty is to please God. Actually, this is called Karma Yoga. This chapter is called Karma Yoga. This is the clear definition of Karma Yoga Krishna has given now. What is Karma Yoga means? One should control his senses. One should do his duty which is prescribed by Vedic culture, Vedic literatures, and offer the results of the duty to Lord. Yajnartat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Otherwise karma bandhana will happen. Otherwise he will commit sinful activities. So this is called Karma Yoga. So do your duty. Duty should be prescribed duty by the Vedic understanding. Then offer the result of your duty to God. While doing so, be sense controlled. Senses should be controlled. Then he is called Karma Yogi. If anybody is not doing this, you cannot call that person as Karma Yogi. He may be Karmi, perfectly doing one's duty, but he cannot be Karma Yogi. So Karma Yogi's definition is this. Now when Arjuna hears this, he gets one doubt. Because he said control senses, so Krishna is saying. So Arjuna gets one doubt. What is Arjuna's doubt? With this, it's a very important. Arjuna gets an important doubt, as we all have got doubts. Okay. So let us see what is Arjuna's doubt. Please repeat, 36th verse. Arjuna uvacha athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. O Krishna, by what is one impelled to do sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? Sinful means sense gratification. I go after something. I know it's not good for me, but there is something forcing me. I know smoking is not good, but I am not able to stop. Something is forcing me. I know drinking alcohol is not good, but I am not able to stop. It is pushing me to do more. Baladiva, like there is some force. What is that? Force. Because Krishna told control senses. That's why Arjuna is saying, I am helpless, I cannot control the senses. There is some force in me to do those things. Now Krishna speaks. Please repeat. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajo Guna Samudbhavaha Mahashano Mahapapma Vidhi Enam Iha Vairinam. Lord said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material modes of passion, later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. This is lust. Lust is also called as kama. This force of kama means I want to enjoy myself is called kama. Okay. Selfish enjoyment. It can be as simple as I want to eat this, that is also one kind of lust. Okay. Lust is actually the same force with the relationship with Krishna, that is love. Prema. The prema, the pure prema in the highest spiritual world, when it comes to this material world, that becomes kama, the lust. So the lust is certain force. So that force of lust, enjoying tendency, when it comes in touch with this world, here Rajoguna, want to do more. When it comes in mix the Rajoguna, that is what is acting. That is the biggest enemy, Arjuna. This lust is the biggest enemy which is sitting. Okay. As a fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, as the embryo is covered by the womb, similarly, the living entity is covered by different degrees of this lust. Each living being is covered by lust into different degrees of lust. Thus, I am going on reading the translation. Okay. Thus, a man's pure consciousness is covered by the eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied, which burns like fire. Imagine if the same force is there towards loving Krishna. That's called pure force. When the same force gets transformed into contaminated world, material world, love becomes lust. Just like the milk, if it comes in touch with the sour food like tamarind, it can become curd. It's the same, transformed milk only becomes curd. Same prema only becomes kama in the material world. Where this lust is sitting, Krishna is saying. He is showing the place, address also. Where is lust sitting? Okay. Lust is sitting there. The senses, the mind and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust, which wields the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. You see the peak of lust with some people. Here the crimes are committed, some murders are done, some rape is done, rapist. He knows the consequences, is it not? But what happens to his knowledge? Knowledge is covered by lust, the kama. Last chapter we discussed how kamat bhavati krodha, krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhramaha, smriti bhramshat buddhi nashat pranashyati. So this all started with the lust. Where is lust sitting? Lust sitting in the mind, lust sitting in the intelligence, lust is also sitting with the senses. Now here is an important understanding. You look at there in the picture. Okay. Now Krishna is giving an anatomy of the human life, human body. What kind of anatomy? That not anatomy which the medical doctors do. It's another kind of anatomy. So what he is explaining, there are 4 different entities in this body. One is called senses, indriyas. Okay. Indriyas are after indriya vastu, the main objects to enjoy. Above the indriyas is a mind. Actually, mind is the one giving ideas to senses, which is nice, which is not nice. Like you say, today I have a mood to eat ice cream. So that mind is giving. Ice cream is same tasty, your tongue is same, but you should have mood to eat, you say sometimes. What is that? That is given by mind. So mind is one above the senses. And above the mind is buddhi, the intelligence. Buddhi has the ability to discriminate what is right, what is wrong. Above the buddhi is Atman, soul. So now Krishna is saying that these are the 3 places lust is sitting. Where is sitting? In senses, mind and intelligence. In the 3 places the lust is sitting. Now I will explain this more. Krishna is going to give the solution for Arjuna's problem. Okay. Next in 41 to 43, Krishna is explaining. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, I am reading the translation of 41st verse. In the very beginning, correct the great symbol of sin, the lust, by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. In the beginning only, you should control the senses. That is why you see in our Vedic culture, there is something called brahmacharya. Okay, brahmacharya is the time for sense control. One has to get trained from the very beginning of one's life. So this is the Vedic culture. So then Krishna explains the different levels. You see there, 42nd verse. The working senses are superior to the dull matter. Mind is the higher than the senses. Intelligence is the higher than the mind. The soul is even higher than the intelligence. Now I will give an example for this, for the better understanding. Higher means what? Higher person should be able to control the lower person. Suppose in our office, there is an executive, there is a team leader, there is a manager, there is MD. So, the executive is controlled by team leader is controlled by manager is controlled by managing director. So, these are higher and higher. Senses, above senses is mind, above mind is intelligence, above intelligence is Atman, the soul. Means higher people should have the control. But when the lust sits on these places, intelligence, mind and senses, there is no control. It's like a virus. Your laptop or a computer gets virus, it will not function as it's supposed to function. Now you say there is a person who goes to a doctor, and doctor diagnoses that this person you have diabetes, sugar. It is very serious. You can no more eat sweets. Doctor gives us prescriptions. He says if you again continue to eat sweet, then you have to be in insulin injections. Be very careful. He becomes very scared and he decides, now I will not eat any sweets. he comes back home, and that day is a birthday, and his wife has prepared very nice sweets. All is liking sweets. Now the senses are seeing the sweets. I want to enjoy that. The boss should control, no? Boss is who? Above the senses is mind. Mind should control. But because lust is sitting, the mind, instead of controlling, it says, yeah, last time I ate it was very tasty, this is more tasty. Brings all the emotions and the feelings you had when you consumed that sweet in the last time. Brings those memories. Actually, mind's job is bringing feeling, emotions, love, these are functions of mind. So mind brings you the memory of that taste of the rasgulla. So that brings taste of the ice cream. It brings. So mind, you can think like that. So mind support the senses. Now okay, there is another boss. Who is that above the mind? Intelligence, correct? So the intellect or intelligence supposed to say, you see what doctor has told. If you eat now, you'll be given injection, insulin injection from tomorrow. Every day you have to take. That's what next boss intelligence supposed to do. But lust is sitting in intelligence. And the lust is sitting, the person under will order the boss. Mind will tell, now you tell me why should I eat sweet. Intelligence is so, it works. It says, you see it comes once a year, birthday. Last day, again I will not eat. One time. Today onwards I said, today, one day, tomorrow onwards I will follow. One time eating, nothing will happen. So many years I ate. What is this? Today is such a good day. If I don't eat, everybody will feel bad. This is called intellectualizing, thinking. So this is the work of intelligence. So intelligence is also working for senses. Mind is also working for senses. Senses also want to enjoy. Then what will happen? The person eats sweet. Who is the loser? That person is a loser finally, is it not? Ideally what should happen? Mind should say no. Intellectual should say no. Then person will get benefited. See how different levels are there in the body. So Krishna is explaining that here. Okay, there are 3 different levels. So example here in the previous verse, previous slide it is given is that horse. Senses are compared to horses. That a noose or that rope which is connected to the horses. So that is compared to mind. Mind should control the senses actually. What is the intellectual supposed to do? Should give the direction. Which side go? Left side, right side, or faster, or stop it. That work of intelligence. Who is traveling in the chariot? Atman, the body, in the Atma, the soul, yourself. Senses, all 5 horses want to go in 5 different directions. And all the ropes are left loose. And the person who is supposed to, the charioteer, supposed to give direction, not giving any direction, letting them run however they want. What will happen to Atman? He will fall from the chariot, he will be on the ground. The same situation will come into us if you do not regulate senses, mind and intellect. The lust is sitting there. The last verse of this chapter is a super instruction, where Krishna gives idea how to control that lust. Okay. Evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhyam atmanatmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kama rupam durasadam. Thus knowing oneself to the transcendental to the material senses. Meaning, knowing, you all know, you are above the senses. You are above the mind, you are above the intelligence. Thus knowing oneself to be the transcendental, means above, to the material senses, mind and intelligence. One should control the lower self by the higher self. And thus by spiritual strength, conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. Now the MD is sitting, no? The executive is corrupted, team leader is corrupted, manager is corrupted, but MD is in a good sound. If he is powerful, if he is capable, he will control the rest of them. Now what you should do? One should gain the spiritual strength. When you spiritually progress, how do you progress spiritually? Reading Bhagavad Gita. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The Kali Yuga's Yuga Dharma, by chanting the holy name, by following simple principles like taking prasadam, coming to temple, your Atma Bhala will come. Atma gets strength. And Atma gets strength, Krishna is saying, by higher self, control the lower self. Intelligence, mind, senses can be controlled. Otherwise, he cannot control. Otherwise, just like in a driving car, you want to stop the car, then you jump on the bonnet and catch hold of the tire. You cannot control like that. If you want to stop the car, you have to apply brake. You have to press the brake lever. The control has to come from the top. Directly I will control my senses. You cannot do much. Controlling senses will be automatic when you progress spiritually. So that is the solution which Krishna is giving at the end of this chapter. Because Karma Yoga requires sense control. So for that Krishna is giving this instruction. So with this we have come to the end of this chapter. Just to brief and summarize. Arjuna was confused. Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga. Then Krishna said for Arjuna, it is Karma Yoga which is correct. He should work and offer result to Krishna. Then Krishna explained about difference between Karma Kanda, how everybody is enjoying for themselves, and one should move from there towards Nishkama Karma, offering result to Krishna. Then next he explained about one should do his duty, though one is very advanced, to set good example to the society. Then he said one should do the Karma Yoga by controlling the senses, by doing the duty and offering result to God. And to control the senses, Krishna has given important tips. First he explained how we are different from body, how in the body there are three categories: senses, mind and intellect. Lust is sitting on all these three places. That has to be controlled by gaining the spiritual strength. That's the summary and brief of this chapter. So we'll end this here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.